Hello, everyone. This is week 6 of Ayurveda for Yoga Teachers. It has flown by for me, and I am so grateful to all of you for participating and for expanding your practice as a yoga teacher in exploring Ayurveda and implementing Ayurveda into your own life to fill your own cup so that you can spill over and support your community in a different way. And I hope that you've been able to start to see how you can implement these Ayurvedic practices into not just your life and taking care of yourself, but into your yoga teaching, and how to shift the way that you're teaching with the seasons and with the doshas and time of day, etc. And although this is our last call together, I'm not going anywhere. I am still here. I would love for you to keep me posted on your journey. And if you've been doing this program at your own speed in your own way, please feel free to reach out with any questions as you go along the way. And again, for those of you that are interested in the Yoga Alliance hours, you have a month to send me a 30-minute Vata, Pitta, and Kapha pacifying yoga class for feedback. And then I'll be able to send you over those hours. And even if you're not involved with Yoga Alliance and would like that feedback anyway, you're welcome. Please send it over. I would be happy to support you in that way. So before we dive into week 6, let's take a moment. Collect. You find your seat. Land with a nice tall spine. Close your eyes or keep a heavy gaze to the ground. And take a full breath in. Exhale to let it go. And just allow your natural breath to take over. Notice what's present for you in this moment. Any physical sensations. And your energy level. And reflecting on this program, these last 6 weeks. You're reflecting on why you decided to join this program, your intention at the beginning of this program, and how we began with learning an introduction to Ayurveda and yogic philosophy with Sankhya philosophy, and understanding the 5 elements and how to nourish our sense organs and create Ayurvedic routines, setting up our natural rhythm, our daily rhythm, our seasonal rhythm. And as we dove into the doshas, beginning with Vata dosha, learning how the sub-doshas work in the body, and how to shift our yoga class for Vata season, the fall and winter time, or if there's a lot of Vata energy, through our asanas and pranayama and meditation practices. And diving into Pitta dosha, how we explored how to find balance and pacify during the summer season, Pitta season, the time of day, and taking up space, releasing excess heat. And Kapha dosha, how we explored adhering our yoga practice and teaching to the spring season, to the morning time of day, to exploring a sense of heat and playfulness on and off our mat. You're not who you were 6 weeks ago. You're not who you were 5 minutes ago. We're ever changing. There is only now. And so perhaps reflecting, if something comes to mind, on how you would like to move forward with this wisdom and implementing into your own life or into your community. And your intention going forward on the path of Ayurveda and yoga. Bring your palms together at your heart. And take a full breath in. Exhale, let it go. And softly flutter your eyes open. All right. Week 6. Let me just pull up this info. So I didn't receive any questions this week. Although I did get a result or benefit of someone sharing that their drive and confidence has made me enjoy everything so much more. My work, conversations with colleagues and patients, my boyfriend and mother, and in terms of tapping into their pitta qualities, feeling more confident, more driven, less uncertain. And I really love that. So I'm very excited for you all. And just starting to learn how the doshas are working in your body and mind. So let me pull up this slideshow. So we learned Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, the sub-doshas, how to teach dosha balancing yoga. And I thought it would be beneficial to end this 6 weeks by diving into the 6 tastes and Ayurvedic cleansing. So I'll share my screen. And I share this with you all because I'd love for you to, again, dive deeper into implementing Ayurveda into your own life. And I know that food is a big part of it. And in understanding the 6 tastes, I find that to be very important and imperative. And also cleansing. Anytime that I travel or do an event or a learning program, I find that doing a short cleanse can be really supportive in allowing my body and mind to digest that information. So the first thing I want to touch upon is tridoshic yoga, right? So now that we have an understanding of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha balancing yoga, breath work, and meditation practices, there is a way to balance the 3 for a comprehensive tridoshic yoga class. And this is something I kind of do in my regular slow flow classes if I'm not adhering to specific dosha or season imbalance that I'm noticing. So depending on the class time and style, notice where to start. So for example, if it was a morning class, I would begin with some kapha balancing work before slowing it down through pitta twists and landing with vata grounding. If it was an afternoon class, right, pitta time of day like noon, I would begin with pitta pacifying, work up to kapha, and end with vata balancing. And if it was during the Vata time of day, I would begin with Vata, build through Kapha and Pitta, and end with Vata as well, remembering that Vata needs the most support as it's the one that moves and influences the others. And again, as always, all of these classes can be built to be gentle, moderate, and vigorous. It's all about how you're presenting the asana, the pose, the movements, rather than the movements themselves. So ahara. Ahara is a Sanskrit word, and it essentially means anything that we take in to nourish the body and mind, which gives us energy. So this isn't just food, but it's also water, it's our breath, our emotions, and information through the 5 sense organs. Ahara is considered the very essence of life. It gives us vital life force energy called prana, and provides building blocks to create new tissues. The word is dhatus. And dhatus are essentially reservoirs of energy that are constantly being broken down. So replenishing them with high quality food and lifestyle practices is essential. Coming back to the practice of mindful eating, right? When we're eating on the run or while reading, watching TV, or on the phone, the gut and mind do not communicate about the food entering the body. And so the correlation between food and the mind, so food is called Purna Brahma, and Purna means full or absolute, while Brahma is defined as universe. So all the elements of the universe are found in food. What we eat then becomes the elements of our body, mind, and emotions. In regards to food in the mind, the enteric nervous system is located in the gastrointestinal system and is considered the second brain, right? Like the gut brain. The food we consume can create clear, sattvic, turbulent, rajasic, or dull, tamasic qualities in the mind. So coming back to those terms, these types of diets, a sattvic diet contains ingredients that are fresh, vegetarian, well-cooked, whole, and organic, and this will maintain a calm, clear, and steady mind. A rajasic diet contains ingredients that are stimulating, like caffeine, alcohol, and spicy foods, and this can be agitating to the mind. Whereas a tamasic diet consists of foods that are leftover, stale, over or undercooked, and or processed. And this diet will create a dullness and inertia in the mind. And so Rajas and Tamas, though, it's not bad. I don't want you to think like Rajas and Tamas is bad, because we need that. Like we need Rajas to stimulate, to do our work, and to reach that sense of balance of sattva. So if we're feeling overly dull, maybe we need to invite some Rajas to find balance. Same thing with tamasic. We need tamas to rest and to ground. And so if we're feeling overly rajasic, we can invite some tamas to help balance and create sattva, that harmony. So ahara, right, the essence that we take in, it should have all of these qualities to maintain balance. It should have all 6 tastes, which we're about to dive into. All 5 elements, ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Living foods such as plants and humanely raised meat, and elements such as water, salts, and minerals. So the 6 tastes are sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. Sweet is a combination of earth and water. And so this pacifies vata and pitta, and it increases kapha, right? So like increases like. So sweet foods increase kapha, balances vata and pitta. Sour taste is earth and fire. So this pacifies vata, but it increases pitta and kapha, right? Because pitta has fire and kapha has earth. Water and fire is salty, and so this pacifies vata, but it increases pitta and kapha. Pungent is fire and air. This increases vata and pitta and pacifies kapha. right? Because vata is air, pitta is fire, so it increases those, but it balances or pacifies kapha. Bitter is air and ether, so this increases vata, but pacifies pitta and kapha. And astringent is air and earth, and this increases vata and pacifies pitta and kapha. So the tastes are related to the elements, right? And so the elements, just remembering like increases like and opposites create balance. Essentially, sweet, sour, and salty all balance vata, and pungent, bitter, astringent all balance kapha, and sweet, bitter, and astringent all balance pitta. So again, vata is increased by bitter, astringent, and pungent foods. It is decreased by sweet, sour, and salty. Pitta is increased by pungent, sour, and salty. Pitta is decreased by bitter, sweet, and astringent. Kapha is increased by sweet, sour, and salty. And kapha is decreased by pungent, bitter, astringent. So rasa, or ra, is translated as to relish, praise, or taste. And sa means juice, sap, or secretion. Rasa is described as an essence. Taste is perceived by the tongue and is connected to the water element. So if there's no water or saliva, right, taste cannot be perceived. There are 4 varieties of taste buds, each perceiving sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. Sweet and salty are perceived at the tip of the tongue, sour on the side, and bitter on the back. And pungent tastes irritate the mucous membrane, and astringent tastes pull the mucous membrane. So it's very pulling, right? So we'll dive into the taste now individually. So sweet is earth and water. And because of its building nature, right, it increases kapha and reduces vata. It reduces pitta as well because of the cooling nature of earth and water. Sweet builds and strengthens all tissues and is ojas enhancing, and ojas meaning our immunity, vigor, and strength. It nourishes and soothes the 5 senses and the mind, stimulates salivations, improves circulation, and strengthens the heart. It acts as a mild laxative, so it also helps to relieve thirst, soothes heartburn. It is wet, cooling, and heavy. Some examples of sweet tasting, so it's not just sugar, but it's like complex carbohydrates, sweet fruits, grains, root vegetables like beets and potatoes, dates, milk, cheese, oils, nuts, and meat. These are all considered sweet tasting in that they have that earth and water nourishing, building qualities. And these tastes are associated with emotions as well. So the positive emotions when we have a proper amount of sweet tasting foods is love, it's sharing, compassion, joy, happiness, bliss. It's considered the most sattvic or balanced of flavors. But when we have too much sweet tasting food, so if we're always eating complex carbohydrates or a lot of cheese or a lot of meat, we can experience emotions of excess like attachment, greed, and possessiveness. The sour taste is earth and fire, so it increases kapha because of the earth element and will increase pitta because of the fire elements. But both the earth and fire of sour will reduce vata. So sour stimulates acid secretions. It helps to moisten food, stimulates our agni or our digestive fire. It aids in digestion. It increases stamina, reduces gas, increases circulation, sharpens the senses, and awakens the mind. It is heavy and hot. So some examples of sour foods would be yogurt, lime, lemon, sour fruits, alcohol, vinegar, fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, even kombucha. The associated positive emotions with sour foods is appreciation, understanding, discrimination, and comprehension. But when there's too much, so if we're drinking kombucha all the time and eating sauerkraut out of a jar all day and drinking a lot of alcohol maybe, or overdoing it on the apple cider vinegar, these are all totally possible and easy to do. We might experience criticism, jealousy, rejection, hate, agitation, selfishness, or hyperactivity. Next, we have salty, and this is a combination of fire and water. Salty will increase kapha because of its water elements, and pitta because of its fire and water elements, but both the fire and water elements reduce vata. Salt makes food tasty by bringing out the other 5 tastes in the food. It strengthens our agni, our digestive fire. It improves digestion and maintains electrolyte balance in the body. Salt is considered a laxative and sedative, calming to the nerves and vata, relieves spasms and opens channels. Salt makes tissues flabby due to water retention. It increases thirst and salivation and vitiates blood. It's considered to be heavy, moistening, and hot. So some examples of salty foods are all salts, right? So rock salt, sea salt, gypsum salt, black salt, also things like tamari and seaweed. Associated positive emotions with salty is courage, confidence, enthusiasm, and interest. When we overdo it on the salt, emotions of excess, temptation, addiction, attachment, greed, possessiveness, irritability. So have you ever heard that phrase, if someone's feeling salty? I think that's where this comes from. Next, we have pungent, and this is fire and air. Pungent will increase pitta because of the fire element and will dry out vata because of the air and fire combination. The fire and air of pungent reduces the wet, cool, heavy qualities of kapha. Pungent taste improves metabolism, helps digestion and absorption, reduces congestion, removes blockages, improves circulation, and relieves pain and muscle tension. Pungent acts as a blood clot preventative, can cleanse the mouth, raises body temperature, and promotes sweating. It's considered to be light, hot, and dry. Some examples of pungent foods would be things like jalapenos, ginger, black pepper, cloves, cayenne pepper, garlic, onion, wasabi, horseradish. Excuse me. Associated positive emotions with pungent is enthusiasm, excitement, curiosity, clarity, vitality, vigor, concentration, and expansiveness. So I do find, like, whenever I incorporate pungent foods, especially wasabi, right? If you've ever had that, that opening in the head, that expansiveness, that's pungency. But when there's too much, so if we're always having garlic and onion, if we're always adding hot sauce, if we're overdoing it on the jalapenos, this is when we can experience irritability, aggressiveness, anger, rage, competitiveness, and envy. Next, we have bitter. So this is ether and air together. So bitter, because of the air and ether elements, it increases vata and reduces kapha and pitta. Bitter purifies the blood, detoxifies the blood, is considered to be antibiotic, antiseptic, antiparasitic, and fever reducing. It can help promote weight loss, absorbs excess fluids, reduces body temperature, and is a liver tonic. It depletes our tissues, essentially fat and reproductive. So it is the driest taste. It's light and cooling. Some examples of bitter foods would be any leafy green vegetables, aloe, golden seal, fenugreek, black tea, bitter melon. The associated positive emotions with bitter foods would be clarity, introspection, self-awareness, a healthy detachment from worldly things. So we're getting into the air and ether, right? But when there's too much, so if I'm constantly eating raw vegetables and like not a lot of protein or fats, we might experience cynicism, rejection, boredom, isolation, separation, and loneliness. And then lastly, we have astringent, so air and earth. So because of the dry qualities of air and earth, it increases vata and reduces kapha. It reduces pitta because of the cooling nature of air and earth as well. Astringent constricts our blood vessels. It's considered an antidiuretic, antibiotic, and antibacterial. It is dry, cooling, and light. So some examples of astringent foods would be like the peel of a fruit or unripe banana. You can almost like feel that pulling taste if you've ever tried that. Pomegranate peel and seed. Turmeric is astringent. Also leafy green vegetables, blueberries, cranberries, right? They kind of have that tart-like taste. Legumes, strong black tea, and honey. So honey is a unique food in that it's sweet tasting, but it's astringent in nature. And so it's good to pull out congestion or heaviness from the body. So honey is a great way to take herbs for kapha. So, right, because kapha is earth and water, as heavy, honey is sweet tasting, so it's good for kapha. They're like excited by that, but its nature is astringent, so it's helping to pull out any excess. The associated positive emotions from astringent foods is stable, unified, collected, and grounded. And in excess, we can experience fear, anxiety, nervousness. Whoops. Sorry about that. I don't know why. Huh. Sorry about this, guys. I don't know why this popped up here. Okay. Resume. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so emotions of excess. So if there's too much astringency, fear, anxiety, nervousness, depression, fixation, rigidity, resentment, and harshness. So those are the 6 tastes. And so in order to, again, pause any craving, so if you're someone that you find that you're craving something, look at the emotions associated with it, right? So if we're craving sweets, maybe there's a sense of love that we're not getting or that we're not offering ourselves, right? Maybe there's a sense of comfort that we're not giving ourselves. If we're craving like sour foods, maybe we need some energy to help us do our work, right? So starting to look at the emotions associated with the taste that you might be craving. And in general, I mean, we want to eat our meals that include all 6 tastes. And so I call it like a 6-taste bowl. I'll have part of my like regular meals include like basmati rice, so that's sweet, with some legumes or beans, which are astringent. I'll add like a squeeze of lemon for sour. Obviously, add some pink salt for salty, and I'll have maybe a little ginger for some pungency, or onion or garlic, depending on the season, or if I'm like feeling excess kapha, and some green leafy vegetables for like the bitter and astringent tastes. And so that's it. It's like vegetables, legumes, and a base like rice, to bring those 6 tastes together. And sour could also be a dollop, like a tablespoon of kimchi or sauerkraut as well. So you can start to play around with some bowls. And when we do include all 6 tastes in our meals, we'll feel less cravings. We'll feel more satiated. And I've found that to be true since I've started paying attention to that and implementing that into my own diet. So we're going to switch gears into cleansing. So I find cleansing very fascinating from Ayurveda. So Ayurveda views cleansing quite differently than the West, opposed to a depleting culture that stems around raw foods, juices, and smoothies. Ayurveda has an understanding of our nervous system and stress. And so because of this, an Ayurvedic cleanse mostly focuses on rejuvenating. So it's not depleting at all. It's not using raw foods or juices or smoothies. It's a very fulfilling, rejuvenating process to relax the body, relax the nervous system, remove stress, so that the body can then therefore shed any excess, and to give the digestive system a break. So, and that's the goal in Ayurvedic cleansing. Is sometimes with life is complicated, I'll do a short, like maybe 3-day cleanse, or, really keeping food simple. If I just, again, did like an immersive experience, I'll do a mini cleanse to, again, give my body time to digest and just give myself a little reset, a break. So I'm sending you all a 5-day Ayurvedic cleanse for you to try on your own. Typically in Ayurveda, they recommend cleansing in the fall and the spring. The fall to release any excess heat that has accumulated in the body from the summertime. So to prepare us for the heaviness that we'll be consuming in the wintertime, right? And so it'll give our immune system a kickstart as we go into the winter season. And then we want to cleanse in the springtime to start to shed the heaviness that accumulated in the wintertime that was needed, but it's not needed anymore. So wanting to cleanse that. That said, again, so I do like 14-day Ayurvedic cleanses in the spring and the fall, and you don't have to do that at all. But I focus more on cleansing those 2 times a year. However, again, you can do a short 5-day, you could do a 5-day cleanse, a 1-day cleanse, a 3-day cleanse, to just give yourself a rest, your digestive system a rest if you ever feel that you've overindulged or need a break. So for this 5-day cleanse, day 1 and 5 involve low fat, like 1/4 of an avocado with each meal, or sesame seeds. But the main component of an Ayurvedic cleanse is khichdi. And so khichdi is a staple cleansing dish consisting of split yellow mung beans, basmati rice, and spices. That includes turmeric, black pepper, salt, fennel, cumin, coriander, ginger, mustard seeds, and I personally like to add fenugreek as well, as someone who's kapha dominant. White basmati rice is the most easily digested rice. Brown rice tends to have a hole typically that makes it harder to break down. And so with khichdi, you can make the consistency as soupy and as hearty as you prefer. However, when it comes to cleansing, a bit soupier can be supportive. And then using beets or seasonal veggies can be very supportive as well. So you can just do plain khichdi, or I like to have steamed veggies on the side, or if I'm like just don't have the energy, I'll just throw in spinach or something with my khichdi. So khichdi is a complete protein with the basmati rice and mung beans. You get all the essential amino acids. It's well spiced and warm, so it's easy to break down. The digestive system doesn't have to think so hard. So what's happening is when we're eating khichdi, it's easy to digest. It's very nourishing and rejuvenating. And the body's like, oh, great. I don't have to work so hard doing this. I can go to this corner over here. I've been meaning to cleanse out that I haven't been able to because I've had to work so hard with all this other food coming in. So it gives the body a rest and to take time to cleanse out any toxins that have been built up in the body and in the cells. Oh boy. Okay. Here we go. So when it comes to cleansing, foods to avoid, right? So we want to avoid soy, dairy, wheat, eggs, red meat, caffeine, sugar, including honey, fermented foods, including vinegars, oils, except for ghee during the khichdi portion. And if you're vegan, you could use avocado oil instead, or coconut oil. We also want to avoid processed foods. I like to encourage a plant-based diet or vegetarian diet during an Ayurvedic cleanse. However, some chicken can be okay in moderation if needed during the first and the last day. But the 3 days in between, you would just be having the khichdi. And so khichdi, it's like a medicine too. I mean, even in India, they give it to babies because it's so easy to digest. And so some people ask, no, can I add an egg or meat to khichdi? Then it's not khichdi, right? It's not like the medicinal, you're not getting the medicinal aspects of it. So khichdi on its own with the white basmati rice, split yellow mung beans, the spices, the ghee or avocado oil, that's khichdi. And then you can add steamed veggies if you'd like. So it's a picture of khichdi for you all. So again, a sample day for day 1 and 5. This would be, just a note with khichdi. I also like to add maybe a squeeze of lemon, and you could top with some cilantro as well. And again, any seasonal veggies that you would like, and it's super tasty. So a sample day for day 1 and 5, right? So the first day and the last day. For breakfast, you could have like gluten-free oats with cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, ginger, turmeric, or cooked green apple in water with 2 cloves and cinnamon. For days 2 to 4, you would have khichdi for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if that doesn't feel good for you, you could opt for oatmeal for breakfast if you'd like to switch it up. And the same food principles apply though with the time clock, right? So we would want to keep our biggest portion of khichdi during lunch. And a tip I do when I'm cleansing is just water sauteing vegetables instead of using oils to steam them. Some things to do to enhance your cleanse would be to perform daily dry brushing followed by abhyanga. Meditate for 10 minutes each day to relax the nervous system, to practice yoga or walking each day. We want to keep movement light but intentional. Also sipping hot water throughout the day. And dandelion root tea can be really lovely, as well as CCF tea, and I'll send you all a recipe for that. CCF stands for cumin, coriander, and fennel. It's a beautiful tea to stoke the digestive fire without overheating. After the 5-day cleanse, when you reintegrate foods, I like to suggest avoiding wheat, dairy, and sugar for as long as it's comfortable for you, especially during the spring or kapha season. And honey, again, can be medicinal when used in moderation. So I just add this to say, like, the day after the cleanse, not to just have a big old bowl of pasta with wheat and cheese and all of that jazz, but you should feel like, or craving, more cleaner foods and to support you. And so just being gentle with yourself as you reintegrate. And that's it. So again, this is obviously not a requirement. I just wanted to offer this information for you if you would be interested in trying on a little reset for your digestive system after doing this program. If you have any questions, feel free to, again, reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer them. And if you do perform this 5-day cleanse and then have any questions during it, feel free to reach out to me as well. I'd love to support you. And again, I'll be sending you all this info in the email that you'll receive with this video. I just want to thank you all again for trusting me and being part of this program and being Ayurveda pioneers. This is how the message spreads. This is how we can support other people in coming back to themselves and their true nature, and understanding our connection to nature and us as the microcosm to the macrocosm. But also, when we do our own great work, we can affect the macrocosm in a way. And so whatever little bit we can do is helpful. And I'm very grateful to share this Ayurvedic wisdom with you all. And again, I'm not going anywhere. You can still reach out to me, and I look forward to supporting you all in any way that you need. And if you have found this program supportive and enjoyed the content, I'll be sending you all a Google form for a testimonial. If you could share your experience, it helps me as well to see what's landing and what isn't landing. And it'll help other people to know why this program would be supportive or why they should learn Ayurveda. So that would be, I would be really appreciative if you did take the time to do that, if you found this program beneficial and supportive. And I'll see you all on the other side. Mwah.